All right, welcome to Xeeva Spotlight, where we feature the people who power Xeeva. Xeeva is the leader in indirect spend management solutions that optimize the entire procurement process. With Xeeva's data-driven spend management solutions, you can simplify, consolidate, manage, control, and conduct all your spend-related activities in one place. Our end-to-end integrated cloud-based platform drives cost savings, visibility, and efficiency gains throughout the procurement process. For more information, visit xeeva.com. That's XEEVA.com. Today, we're going to speak with Christopher Hudson, Vice President of People. As the Vice President of People, Christopher works to ensure a people-focused approach across the operations, with a focus on acquiring new talent, developing organizational leaders, and guiding human behaviors that support Xeeva's mission and values. With 20 years of both strategic and tactical experience in talent management programming, he believes a world-class culture to be the driving force behind business success. He's led people and culture initiatives in Europe, the US, Canada, Brazil, and Malaysia. Christopher is certified through the Society for Human Resource Management in the United States and through the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development in the United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland. Additionally, he holds a bachelor's degree in French from Old Dominion University and a postgraduate degree in Arts and Human Resource Management from the National College of Ireland. Christopher lives in St. Petersburg, Florida, enjoys traveling in his RV, and owns a small crafting business. Welcome, Christopher. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks, Dave. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about your corporate journey and how it brought you here to Xeeva.
Yeah, that intro makes it sound really incredible, right? I feel very lucky to be here. I think a lot of people that get into HR come about HR in a roundabout way. You can obviously go the college route, university route, get a degree in HR management, but a lot of people I think you'll find that are just people like myself kind of fall into the role and get a career started and realize, oh, this is the kind of work that I meant to do. And that was me. I was going to be a French professor, and I landed a fantastic, my very first HR role was payroll administration and hiring and recruiting. I absolutely fell in love with the profession, and now 20 years later, I'm so thankful to be part of it. But my career path was going to be very different. But I've been very lucky to have, for at least the last 15 years, great exposure to global roles. I worked for an Irish telecommunications company based in Dublin, Ireland. I was permitted to go to Ireland. I lived there for 2 years. And then came back to the United States, working for several global businesses, and came here to Xeeva. I have a direct connection with our Chief Executive Officer, Nina Valayan. We have worked together in the past, and I feel very fortunate to join here in a company that is growing and making a name for itself in procurement and supply chain.
Awesome. Wow, what a cool journey. It took you all over the world.
It did. Yeah, I've managed HR programs in Canada, Brazil, Northern Europe, Malaysia, India. So it is neat for someone like me who likes to work with people, who enjoys the HR profession, also knows a few languages and enjoys the cultural aspect, because I get to speak with people from all over the world. It's quite exciting, actually.
Yeah, how cool. Yeah, I mean, Xeeva is a global organization, so that's a really great skill to have. Also being able to, really look at cultures all over the world and bring them together.
Yeah, the culture of the organization is really based on the people in the company at the time, and adding people from across the world with different cultural backgrounds and religious backgrounds and linguistic backgrounds, that enriches the culture of the work environment. So as an HR person, I thrive on that, and understanding how we integrate that into the business strategically to meet our objectives, but also tactically, how people work together, how they communicate, the systems they use. It is very interesting in a global environment as the organization grows to manage these not problems, but these things that we encounter as human beings, how we manage through them and get the business to grow.
How do you establish a culture for a company and make sure that culture continues to grow?
Yeah, great question. Culture is very personal to me. I have a very specific definition of what I believe culture is. And culture is a new buzzword. This is a word that we were not using 7, 8, 10 years ago. This is really what differentiates you in the marketplace now. It's no longer compensation and benefits and great recruitment efforts. People stay in roles when they're emotionally attached to the brand, when they're emotionally attached to the people they work with, and feel that the culture of the organization is thriving. I believe culture is defined as the ways in which employees create, collaborate, and innovate to solve problems and produce business outcomes. So it's a very specific definition. And that looks at systems and tools that they use, the job roles that they're in, the value those roles place in the organization, and the work environment itself. And so looking across the organization, the way that people are actually getting their jobs done every day is culture at the end of the day. It's not the perks and the fun things that come along with it, but it's the way that, for example, you and I are communicating, we work together, the way that marketing works with human resource, the way human resources works with sales, the way sales works with broader leadership. All of these things, because culture is a human construct of people working in a work environment, these things have to be nurtured and they have to grow and they have to progress. I don't believe in things like culture fit. We have to let the culture breathe and grow. But to be honest, Dave, to answer your question, it's all rooted in our values. And so as the company grows, we have to agree on a set of values. And these are the rules by which we govern our work, and that we want to, take pride in the quality of our work, and that we want the company to grow. And as long as people join us that share those values, then the culture will progress and the company will operate in the manner in which it wants to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the culture will kind of be shaped by the people that work there, really.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, culture is, if you look at, it's not a linear thing or a stacked thing. Culture is a matrix and it hits the organization at different points. Someone in one part of the business will have something to say about our culture, and someone in the other part of business will have something different to say, because it's people interacting. But our values are really should what drive our culture. And we have 4 here. So transparency, trustworthy, growth mindset, and doer. And these are the things we see across the business. They should be consistent. We have a lot of people that are trying to grow the business. They've got a growth mindset. They're trying to contribute to the organization. We are trustworthy in the way that we operate. We're transparent in the way that we communicate. And as long as these core values are driving culture, then people are picking up those values and they're carrying it through their everyday work.
Awesome. Yeah, that's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about what makes Xeeva a great company to work for. I mean, you did speak a little bit about values, and now we've talked a little bit about culture. But specifically, what makes Xeeva a great company to work for?
I think we are at a great point in our business when we are beginning to grow. The people in the organization are starting to see the fruits of their labor. The products are in a great position, but the people themselves get excited by the value that they contribute to the organization. They can see the results of their work. And I think that makes an exciting place to be, just from a cultural perspective. As the organization grows, our systems and tools are change and they improve. The way that people work improves, work gets easier, work gets understood better, the work environment improves. And I think that makes us an incredible place to be. We have fantastic leaders, great experience in procurement and supply chain, but people who are dedicated to building a great work culture, because honestly, that's what keeps people in their roles. It's at the end of the day, you can change jobs and you can get paid differently somewhere else, but you stay because you like the people you work with, the quality of the work that you're doing. But honestly, you want to know that the work you're doing is valued by the organization. And I think that we've got that on lock right now. Our people understand that their work is valued. They know how it contributes to the greater progress of the organization. And they all feel in some way they're contributing strategically to our growth. And if I can keep people understanding that and excited about that and motivated by the work that they're doing and how it plays into the greater picture, then I can proudly stand and say we've got a fantastic culture and people believe in it. But if you run around going, we've got great culture, and the people don't believe it or they don't see it every day, then it's just words. But we're not that. We're not that way. We're not that business. We are growing. Our culture is progressing, and I think that's what keeps people excited and motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. We really have a good team here. We're really good
Mhm.
people. We really have a good group of people that care about each other here, and that is for me too what makes Xeeva a great company to work for.
I think, Dave, that's where the value of the HR function comes in, right? Because there's so many components that come into complicated HR work nowadays. Talent acquisition, benefits, pay and comp, career management, training and development, people analytics, benefits. I mean, there are so many moving pieces, but all of these pieces that I proudly take ownership of and are happy to contribute to touch people's lives every day. I think I'm pretty unique in the business in that too, being in an HR function. I can help people strategically guide them through productivity and getting excited about their roles. I can tactically ensure that we hire the right people, that they're paid correctly, their benefits are meaningful. And I get to exercise all these different functions which truly affect people's lives every day. And that is why I stay in the role. That's why I've been doing it for so long. I think when I don't feel like I'm contributing to people's lives anymore, it might be over. But right now I feel like that is going strong, and I'm excited about what I do.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you. What differentiates Xeeva from its competitors?
I think we have a very strategic product, a suite of products that allow us to substantiate ourselves in the marketplace. Through our artificial intelligence, our machine learning, we can accelerate the data analytics and get people faster to understand their indirect spend. The greater visibility on the data, the completeness and the enrichment and the classification allow our customers to get access to the indirect spend data faster than I think our competitors can do it. And the quality of that data, once it's enriched and classified, allow them to make good, solid business decisions and cost-saving decisions that impact their bottom line. And I think that differentiates at the marketplace. We've got an absolute suite where we can do the data analytics and show them the cost savings, but where they can connect them to a network effect marketplace where they're able to benefit from the enrichment and classification of all the data through an extensive supplier and data universe. And all of our clients benefit from the work that we do for our other clients. And I think that separates us in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I believe so too. That full suite operation plus our quick time to value. We are a smaller growing company, so we're able to be more nimble than other companies as well, and we can move quicker.
And I would add responsive to our customers, right? And if they're going with much larger companies, there are red tape in the customer value chain and getting resolution to issues. We're a smaller organization. We are nimble and we're responsive, and we can give a direct service to our customers. They can get direct access to increase that partnership and to enrich that experience. And they get direct access to our leaders at this point as well, which I think is a value differentiator for them.
Everything has really changed over the last few years in how people work. And so we are a remote organization right now. How do you keep your team motivated and facilitate cross-team functionality in this new normal of remote work?
Yeah, we are definitely, the HR people, I think, would tell you that we didn't see this coming 3 years ago, right? The pandemic has really changed the world of work. It has not only changed the way that we operate as an organization in relationship to our people, but the way that people view the work that they're doing. No longer are we heading into a 9-to-5 office situation. That's not our business. We're a remote first organization. So I think the way that we keep people engaged and motivated is, number one, connected to the employer brand. Xeeva does a great job internally with communication. We meet with our employees regularly. We hold global town halls. We use good systems and tools internally to communicate and keep information in front of employees, but that keeps them connected because I live here in St. Petersburg, Florida. I travel for the organization, but being down here in Florida, it would be very easy to get disconnected in some way. But we do not allow that to happen in the organization. We want people to understand the value of their work, where they're connected, their goals and productivity. How we measure productivity in the business is a little bit different than we used to as well. We value the employee and supervisor relationship here. That is crucial. You must be connected to the person that's directly managing your work every day, and we want to enrich that relationship. It's no longer just manager subordinate. There's a personal connection to the work. There is a value in getting to know people personally. There's a value in bringing your most authentic self to work every day. We are focused on diversity and equality in the organization and having everyone feel included. And that can be challenging in a remote environment, but these aren't programs. This is culture. This is the way that we operate as a business. So we must keep these things going, conversations going, training going internally, communication lines open, keeping goals transparent, and then getting information to the employees about the business as a whole. Our leaders do a great job with that and keeping our employees informed about what's going on. And I think that keeps people connected. But I would also say, Dave, that the times of measuring 9 to 5 work is gone. And so some people may disagree with me, but at the end of the day, we're human beings. We're operating in our home environments. There are distractions. There are our personal commitments. Being your whole self at work means accepting that there's a personal environment there as well. We are not task managers. We're not managing every second of people's professional days. We are not at all trying to create a culture where we feel employees are binded by their time in front of the camera, in front of the computer. Where you work isn't as important as the quality of work that's done and making sure that it's strategic in nature and that it benefits the organization. And I think people enjoy that freedom a little bit that wasn't there 3 years ago before the pandemic. It may have been for some, but I think companies are starting to realize the value of allowing people to be human at the end of the day, and that's changed the way we operate as a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I find it very cool too because we can work with a global team daily. I mean, our people are everywhere, so there's so many different cultures and people coming together, helping on one specific task. It's really very cool, actually, this remote work. Instead of everybody has to be in one location to go to an office, now it's like, well, we can kind of find the best talent out there and bring them into this remote office, and it really does help the diversity and all of that as well, because it gets you out of your bubble.
Yeah,
So it's
we
very
used to
cool.
use phrases like work-life balance, but internally, Dave, you'll never hear me use that phrase. I don't believe in work-life balance because what that means is that if you work more, you have less personal time. If you have more personal time, you have less work. And I don't believe that that's the case. I think nowadays we're realizing that people's personal and professional lives are now integrated. There's not a give and take.
Mm.
It's a full matrix. It's a full net, and your lives are integrated. People are getting to know one another. You're able to have a little bit more freedom. You're more connected to the work. You get to do the work where you want to and when you want to, as long as goals are being met. Not to say that there's an extensive amount of freedom. The business must be operated. But at the end of the day, my personal and professional life are so integrated that I don't see them constantly battling one another anymore. And I think 3 or 4 years ago, we would have struggled to get more balance in work life. But when the organization is doing a good job at treating you as a human being, giving you some freedom to be human, having a personal life is important, and getting goals done and productivity and moving the organization forward is also employee. When those all work together, then you've got this beautiful sweet spot. And I think it's hard to achieve, but we're always constantly working towards that. And sometimes we have to do some course correction, but that's the goal, is to just feel like people are working and that they're living their lives and they're being their total, selves, personal selves all the time. And the organization isn't getting in the way of that somehow, but they're contributing.
Great point. Yeah, that's really awesome. I really love this new remote work environment, actually, personally.
It's
That's
it's
awesome.
it's fun and it's different. We all have new perspectives, I think. And even the work of HR has changed. It's the view of the strategic value of human resources or people operations, or whatever the label is, but the view of that strategic and tactical function in the organization has changed over the last 3 years. It allows us with different tools and systems and different ways of work and changing job roles and all of these exciting things which allow people to be more human.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Are there some things outside of work that have motivated you to achieve the amount of success that you have experienced in your career?
That's a fantastic question. Um, I would say yes. I love and am passionate about working in a global environment, but I'm also well-traveled. And I think my personal travel enriches my work professionally. I've been very fortunate to work for global organizations. I've been very fortunate to travel to some fantastic places on the globe, for work and personally. But I'm so enriched by encountering a language I don't know and I must know, so I try to learn it, or encountering a new food, or encountering a new culture, encountering a new viewpoint. That, I think, allows me to operate as a better human being in a global environment, because you're sensitive to people have different perspectives and different points of view and different cultural backgrounds, and different holidays that they celebrate, and different ways that in which they speak. And some people have learned English as a second language, and people find that strange, but at the same time they're learning to communicate. And I am constantly bringing my global perspective to the job, because I travel quite often. In 2 weeks, I'm headed back to Europe, and I bring those experiences with me, and I think it allows me to bring some value, teach leaders to be open, to be more human, to be sensitive to cultural variations in the organization. And I don't ever want to lose that perspective. Working in a global environment is the funnest thing about my HR career.
So do you speak other languages too?
I do. But so, like I said before, like sometimes HR people kind of come to HR work, but by various means. I was a French major. I took French and Russian in high school. I took French and Russian in college. I was going to be a linguist. I studied Italian for several years. I lived in Miami for several years and started picking up Spanish. I worked in Brazil and started picking up Portuguese. Dave, I did a 2-week tour of Italy one year and didn't speak any Italian, and I came back to the United States and took 2 years of Italian just because I couldn't speak the language and I wanted so desperately to learn Italian. I will pick up languages, just it's my thing. I hear language, and if I don't know it, I must know it. So I will learn as much as I can. And I can bring that to work
wanted to
too.
be a linguist?
I did. I was either going to like teach, teach at the university level, or I was going to work for perhaps government and do translation work, or the UN. That was going to be my career path. But I decided to take a break from my master's degree at the University of Georgia in French linguistics. It was actually 16th century French linguistics. I was studying very cool stuff, but I took a break and I needed a job, and I found my first HR role, and I ended up being so passionate about the work because it was so people connected. And I connected with a fantastic leader at the time who was the HR director for an organization. She taught me so much. I got connected with good people and learned to profession along the way. So now language is just something I do.
That's amazing. And that actually does help you with your, that's an outside thing that helps you with your being in a global organization, for sure.
Yeah, we're working. We have a fantastic Indian population here at Xeeva. I love picking up a little bit of their language and using it. And some of my employees over there, when I start using their language, they kind of laugh a little bit. But at the same time, I'm learning, and I think that it's a lot of fun. It shows a connection, and I'm willing to learn something. Yeah, but yeah, you can. Learning languages and then using them at work just reinforces the language learning. One of our leaders here in the organization, our executive VP of professional services, is German. I'm trying out my German on him, and those kinds of things. So yeah, language is great and it's useful, not only just professionally, but personally.
That's awesome. So do you have any tips for procurement professionals that can help them succeed?
I think my biggest tip, I do not personally have an extensive background in procurement, but I have now been with Xeeva almost 2 years. And as someone who's working in this business, we have to understand the experience of our category managers and our purchasing managers. And we have learned a lot about that as the organization grows. I think my tip is really the data journey, how important it is to understand what you're spending in the indirect spend space, what your suppliers are, what your costs are, and getting that data journey started through classification, enrichment, standardizing the data. And I think that this is really where we excel and where we can make a very quick impact. For a category manager working in an automotive center, for example, who has paper all on their desk of purchase orders and invoices and Excel spreadsheets. We can take all of that data and we can begin your data transformation journey. And I think that that's an incredibly important place to start. And that builds our relationship with our clients too, when we can ingest all that data and we can really bring something of value to them that has taken that data and begun the journey to transformation for them.
Yeah, because if they take their unstructured data and they start importing it into the spend analytics tools or sourcing tools, it's that garbage in, garbage out mentality where if you import bad data, you're going to get bad analytics. But if you focus on that data journey first and clean your data up, and that's what our AI allows you to do, then now you're importing clean data into your platforms, and so we can actually get really actionable insights that are accurate to your organization. So yeah,
one of my favorite parts about spend analytics and what we do is we can return a value for the quality of the data. So you know very quickly the quality of the data that you have, how complete the data is, all the supplier information, the item information. Because again, we're getting that from paper and spreadsheets, but you know very quickly the quality of the data that you have in front of you. And that's very difficult to determine when you're using various platforms and various paper products. And within our spend analytics, it's a fabulous function where once the data is ingested and we begin to look at the data, we can return a quality score for them that lets them know the quality of the data and what we need to work on. And when you start seeing some lower quality scores, that's where we need to start, because that's where the value is going to be, enriching and classifying that data and getting those quality scores up so they make better purchasing decisions, better cost savings decisions. And when it pings the supplier universe in our marketplace, we can get better quality pricing as well when we have better quality data. And I love that part about spend analytics. I love being at sales conferences and showing that part off.
Absolutely. What are some of the biggest challenges facing procurement departments today, and how does Xeeva address those challenges?
Yeah, very good question. I think there are some disruptions in the supply chain, global supply chain management right now, right? It's where consumers are being hit, and purchasing managers are being hit by some supply chain management issues. There's a lack of goods. There's barriers to shipping. Those things are what they're encountering, and I think the way that Xeeva can address that, again, is by offering a network of suppliers, options from which they can purchase these products. Giving them access to a very robust suite of suppliers will help will help them in order to get access to a better supplier network. I think the other thing are things like inflation. Higher costs are going to be hitting everyone, right? Consumers would be the first to tell you that inflation is hitting our pockets. But that's where the cost savings and controls have to come into place, and Xeeva can help do that. With good quality data, we can bring value to the client by lowering those costs and giving them some pricing options that will help them in the real world kind of look at inflation and look at those global supply chain issues and be able to address them.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. So what advice would you give to young professionals ready to start their career?
Again, the world of work has changed, right? And I think that there is a focus on finding good roles that allow people to use their skills but bring their whole human selves to work. So I always recommend when people are interviewing with organizations to ask lots of questions around culture. Don't let culture be like this checkpoint item, like, oh, you've got great culture and a few values, that's wonderful. Really understand the way that the role that you're looking at is impacted by the systems that are being used, the processes that are in place. What does the work environment look like? What is the value of the work that you're going to provide? Ask good questions around culture, because nowadays it is what separates organizations from one another. You can go through LinkedIn and you can see them advertise. They're posting job roles, but they're talking specifically about why it's so great to work for that organization. We are doing the same thing because we value the culture that we built here. So I would say if you're out there looking for roles, ask lots of questions around culture, understand what you're getting into, and be sure that as a human being, you would be happy there, not just performing the work, but in that particular work environment. You're getting what you need as a human being.
Awesome. What excites you about working with people?
Wow, that's a broad question. It's kind of like, why are you a people person? I think, to be honest with you, I'm extroverted. I will talk to anybody at any time. In a crowd, I'm not going to be the one standing up against the wall. I like getting to know people. I like understanding their perspectives and understanding and understanding how they view their roles is incredibly important to me, because I can write a job description. I can help individuals understand what's expected of them, but I can't tell them how to feel about it. So it's important for me to kind of connect with the people in the organization and understand how they view their job roles, how do they view the relationship with their manager. But I'm a people guy, man. If I ever change that, if I switch that off, like I'm no longer a people person, I don't think I could do this job anymore. I will talk to anybody. I like being around the human beings in the business. There are people that are more spreadsheet oriented. There are people that are more email oriented, but not me, man. I'll pick up the phone and call you. I'd much rather talk to people in person. And I think that that's what still excites me about the role. I could do other functions, but I don't know. I love the people part of this business. It's hard to switch like from human resources to people and culture and talent operations. And I don't know. At the end of the day, it's all human. And as long as there's a human element to this role, I will continue to do it.
You found your zone. It's awesome.
Yeah, man.
So what skills does someone need to be successful working for Xeeva? And compound question, are we hiring, and how would someone apply?
Very good. I think we are looking for people who bring experience to the table. Obviously, as a growing organization of procurement and supply chain, it is helpful to bring on individuals who have an understanding of the industry. So that is, I think, a very good skill to have. But at the end of the day, you really have to be passionate about the skills you bring. You have to want to be able to work remotely. I think that's an important skill to have. Not everybody is happy working, in their home office. If someone wants to go to an office every day, this is probably not the best place, right? Because we're remote first. So we're analyzing that particular perspective. And to be honest with you, we really want people to have a growth mindset. We're a growing business. We're all contributing. And that means feeling kind of an entrepreneur, right? I'm a doer. I'm excited about the growth of the company. I believe in what I'm doing and the value I'm bringing. Those are incredibly important skill sets. If you don't want to help the company grow as we are to get larger, then that person, I think, would be kind of left behind in the business, because everyone around you has a growth mindset and we're all excited and we're all doing the things we need to do to move the business forward. And we are currently hiring. We're especially always, looking for people in customer success and account executives and individuals who bring, category management and supply chain management experience. They can go directly to our website at xeeva.com/careers. There's a page there that kind of discusses what we offer and a link to our current open positions.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Christopher, for your time today. Do you have any sign-off thoughts, any questions, anything that you didn't quite address in this interview?
Shout out to all my HR professionals out there. And I think the second thing is Xeeva, I say all the time on LinkedIn, Xeeva's on the move. I say this often because we are moving right now. We're getting noticed in the marketplace. Our products are fantastic, and we are addressing real needs of our clients. And so I think that people need to watch for our organization, because we are on the move. And those of us that work in this business are excited by that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christopher. I really appreciate your time. This has been a great interview.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I appreciate your time. This was fun. Thank you.